Hello, friends. This is E. Giuliano, and it is a Monday. That's right. It is the 24th of January, 2022. It's the final full week of January, and I'm here to share with you some crypto price charts, altcoins, Bitcoin as well. We'll look at the weekly timeframes mainly. So stick around, get yourself comfortable, and we're going to take a look here. I'm going to share the screen. I hope you're doing well. Here we go. Well, the Bitcoin price has moved, so I'm going to do another video for a shorter time frame and basically a more local price action. But yeah, okay, I'm getting a good feeling out of all of this, and nice. So overall, you know, on the weekly time frame, this lower end target is definitely in play, and looks like it will come. This is the candle from the previous week, 17th of January week, and it was an intense dumping candle. A little bit of a fake out here the previous week, and then boom, like right away. But we were closing below that key mid layer here, previous support. And so without much time needed, boom, it dumps down. Anyway, we'll see. Take a look for, or keep an eye out for the next video for Bitcoin coming around. We'll talk a bit more locally about what might happen here and some ideas on a bigger picture. But so far, around the 31, the 30, the 29, these levels are the key zones of turnaround that we're looking for. We might even get some wicking down into like a 26 level, you know, just a huge capitulation and then out of there. So that still remains, but the depth of this current move, like last week's candle, that was huge. That was just classic. Okay, so I hope you're doing well, you know, overall, and keeping yourself sane during these wild, crazy times. So I'm going to move on to the next chart. We're going to start with KMD after the BTC, and then we'll check the ARRR pirate chain. With the KMD, what have we got going on here? This is a daily chart, and we want the weekly. Yeah, it's just lower lows. So that idea of dumping below or moving above this triangulation, dump below. And here we are actually at the prior all-time low in BTC term. Oh, yeah, it's a weekly chart. We don't have to go that far back. It's right back here in the beginning of January, end of December, beginning of January 2021. So a year later, we are back here at square zero. So what are we seeing here? Well, definitely just this continued downside bias. Obviously, we just broke down out of this downsloping triangular formation here, and yeah, we are out of and above this channel. So for now, I'm just gonna get rid of that. But we remain now below this key previous support layer here that was building this base. Just couldn't hold it. So what we need this to be potentially is some form of deviation below and then can get back above. That would be ideal. We are towards the lower end of the Bollinger Band. So best case scenario, deviation below, get above, hold it as support. That'll be a great sign going forward. So that's what we're looking for on the KMD weekly chart. Otherwise, this 1000 becomes a real psychological target here. But then we're breaking down below the lower end of this this Bollinger Band, which, to be fair, hasn't been done since it squeezed a lot back here, and definitely it is squeezing here. So we'll see. Bias, it's tough to form a bias on this one, because if Bitcoin has a really good strong move eventually, then I mean, it's been in the past where Bitcoin rockets up and KMD against BTC just collapses. So watch out there, folks, friends, and families. Make sure that you are in the positions you need to be in order to be safeguarded for yourself, you know. But enjoy those KMD rewards if that's in your wallet. None of this financial advice. And so that's it. That's for the KMD. Let's move on to Pirate Chain. Okay, let's go to the loading of the chart layout. We're going to go to the weekly roundup. All right, let's get into this one. So, same idea, further down, sloping down, dumping. If we want to measure this right here, we can say maybe the 1600s are still in play. And at worst here, maybe psychological and 161.8, you get down to like the 1000s. So these are definitely in play, but just ever closer to turning it around here. But turning it around could just mean a bounce and then sideways. So that is, but that, hey, that's takes a while to turn a ship sometimes, right? So anyway, especially one with this kind of inertia, okay? However, it looks like it is coming, but more down first is a strong possibility. We'll take a look at the candle closings, and yeah, I mean, nothing is screaming turnaround just yet, and you saw that level. So I think the 16s is viable, and obviously right here, it would be a retest of this type of low. So we'll see what that does. So that's there you have it for Pirate Chain against the BTC. Okay, let's move on to some other crypto charts. We have ADA BTC. ADA, last week we were looking at this chart and it was moving up into this 3,800 level. And just look at the way the candle closed. What an interesting intermediate style candle. It's very big with the wicks. It's a interposing candle there. And I think because it already had a bit of an upside bias, I would say it could offer a continued upside in the coming weeks, eventually. I don't know how long of a turnaround it would take here. Having said that, the bigger trend is downwards. So does this signal a turnaround and an intermediation between this move and whatever is coming next? So we'll see. But the sense I'm getting as well here, you know, you get your weekly MACD similar to Pirate Chain. So maybe some alts will have a little bit of a turnaround. We'll see. It could be coming. That's critical here at this Ichimoku cloud level to try and get back up here and kind of push in here. We'll see what it can do though. Ultimately, it might not be enough to maintain, but yeah, just keep an eye out for the ADA price chart. You know, currently, I think the levels that matters here though is the rejection at this previous important support level. You got above it, but then you closed the week there, and now this week we're rejecting and going lower. So yeah, again, you're gonna have to wait and see, but this is not a promising move in the short term. And in the long term, at least you've gotten a counter trend move. So now we can see what's next. Can we form some sort of similar, you know, low, higher low, similar low, or does it take us lower low and down into these levels here, lower end of this rectangular zone and that sort of thing? We're gonna have to wait and see, but you know, I'm looking for something like that. That would be all right. And then, well, we'll see, because see, it also depends on what is the bigger picture of this trend. And where are we in all of this? Is this somewhere where we can form a new base here? This previous zone where it was previously, it just doesn't feel like it, because yeah, this zone here just feels more tried and true. Now, having said that, it did hold that as a support. So it might be up before some sort of down, if at all. All right, let's see what happens. it's interesting how much time, like look how much time this took. This is since September of the year 2021, and so that's a third of the year right there. So the next move, whatever it's going to be here, could also take a good portion of the year, quarter of the year. And we'll see. You know, this brings us out to March over here, just the beginning of March. So if there is going to be some sort of spring rally for things, then yeah, that would be a great potential move, and if it could support here. But you know, right now it's difficult to think about those moves, those directions, because everything feels so bearish. Everything just feels so bearish in the sentiments around. So I like the way everything looks though overall. It was interesting to watch this happen, how it did, and that just goes to show this target beat was there, but we've only really touched it on a lower time frame. And on a weekly, it isn't in play just yet. Well, it's in play, but it hasn't really, either that or this becomes a really weak chart and it's going to come down, and that's totally possible. In fact, let's say Bitcoin is rocketing up or going to a nice level, or there are other scenarios as well where ADA and other alts, but let's say, for example, here in this chart, ADA finds this type of level to support and just kind of hangs out here. And as Bitcoin's going up, the ADA USD is going up, and on the BTC chart, it's kind of finding a new level, a new base, whatever. That's just something to consider, something to think about. We're still in this kind of a downtrend, so yeah, I'm not convinced anytime soon just yet. Yeah, those are some ADA thoughts. All right, I think we're looking for some support here. Otherwise, danger. If we get below this cloud, forget about it. Forget about it. That's probably your pathway, which it makes a lot of sense. Totally makes a lot of sense, especially if the Bitcoin price is stabilizing or going up, or even going down. You know, either way, I could just see this playing out like that. Yeah, we came up. Now who knows what happens if you fall down? Forget about it. This is a key level. These next few weeks are super key. This next, yeah. Let's just see what happens. All right. Whew, we're only on ADA, and there's a lot of speculation to consider here. Well, let's see how other charts are faring. The ADA price chart was definitely an interesting movement. THETA, let's see. Breaking below this uptrending channel. So that's a big move right there. And on the Bollinger Band is breaking down the Bollinger Band as well, right here. So yeah, you could be going down further, that's for sure. This rejection here at this key level, that was clearly the beginning of a fast move. So let's see, what do we have here? Let's go to the lines just to get a feel for it. Okay. So we can start from the top here, come over here. And just start doing a little bit of measurement comparisons. And I'm seeing that this 78.6, wow, that would be the same level. This and this match this. So that's fascinating. And it's right, we're right here at this really, could be a strong support, or sorry, yeah, strong support level here. It would be a zone, obviously, but look for this to be an area for support. Theta really needs to find some support here. Now, who's to say it doesn't just continue like that? And that's fine, but that's good. That's where you want to be finding your new supports. That's fine. If you're building a big structure, you need to find support somewhere. And if you can hold this type of level as support, then you are in a really good position. But that brings you down to maybe a 550, sorry, 550, a 5,500, 5,500 Satoshis level for Theta. I mean, that's, look for the 600, or sorry, 6,000. Oops, I did it again. Look for the 6,000s. You're already a potential near the zone that it might give a bit of a turnaround, but this is a key, definitely a key level here, even down to here. Let's give it down to there. Okay, that brings this support level in, and if we extend it, I bet you it brings that previous resistance in. Yep. So this is your key zone for Theta. All right, let's keep watching this one, and I'm going to just redo that for you because we want to save this one up for the next time. So here we go. A little rectangulation. Boom. All right. So all of you Theta watchers, if you know anybody who's talking about Theta, yeah, you can give these kinds of ideas here. This is definitely a really important level. So next target is, yeah, 500, 550, 600, sorry, 5,000, 5,500, 6,000. That's definitely a strong target, especially, look, we're starting to continue with a bit more of that negative momentum. So I don't know how long that's going to last, but, and it is, making higher lows each time. Let's see, but still, that's just a sign that, yeah, you could be seeing some more dumpage. All right, that's Theta. Next, we're going to move on, and we're going to look at ICX. Now, ICX was also another one that broke down quite significantly. We're down in the teens. We're down just below the 1800 level. And so we are right at that kind of band here zone where we were looking. And previously there have been deviations or out of it. So let's see if we get a deviation here. The Bollinger Bands here are being violated here. As you can see, I don't really like that color. So it's just, yeah, it could be another nice deviation down here. So look for the 1500 level to be a key support level. Otherwise, bad times for ICX if you can't really hold that. I mean, bad times, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, this structure here has been happening for a while. If you're going to start breaking below this structure, that's kind of like the feeling of KMD as well. KMD is also in a similar type of position, although KMD is already making the, moves down to its low of lows, whereas ICX at least had a bit of flattening here. Yeah, nothing's really saying turn around just yet. So that's ICX for you. All right, just keep those thoughts in mind. Next, I'm not gonna bother doing that again. I don't always bring them up. I should. TRAC as well, dumped down to 1400. Wow, this is, yeah, there's your zone. Okay, so we had this zone laid out, and there it is. You don't need to know Elliott wave analysis to know that there's a good chance when it comes back down, it could be coming back to this zone here, and it did. It chopped around there. And then to have this level here, these previous resistance levels here that were broken out, never came back and retested. So I'm getting the sense that we could be close to the end on ICX, ICX TRAC in terms of this zigzag-ish pattern. However, I mean, a really big move would be down to the 600 level, which is, I mean, that is, when I see it like that, it could be, that's these lows here. you'd be basically retracing this whole move up here that began September timeframe. It's possible. I want to say that it's going to be ending here. I don't know. Don't know this financial advice. I don't know what's happening, but this is definitely a strong bounce zone, in my opinion. Could at least get a bounce. We just broke down below the 20-week moving average. Could get a bounce back to the 20-week moving average and continue lower. That's for sure. But then that's, yeah, wow, that's a big dump. It's possible. Maybe it'll make a higher low here. Maybe with this price action here, which is around the 1,000 Satoshis level. Okay. It just, one thing's for sure though, now, in my opinion, is that this wave here is not related to this wave here in an Elliott wave impulse form on a bigger scale, because now this retracement is moving back into this price territory. So that's a no. So we'll just have to see what TRAC is doing. But previously, if you had watched any of those videos where I was speculating on potential wave structures, well, we have broken into it just in the past week. Big dumping candle, and it looks like we're just getting started on some negative momentum for the origin trail price chart. So I'm getting the sense we're going to break through this level here. We'll be below a cloud. So, you know, if you're looking to get out or something like that, again, none of this financial advice, but if there's a bounce up to this 2000 level, it's possible that you might consider it. Yeah, having said that, again, you know, don't take any of my points for advice. Now, if we just take the closing basis of this move, yeah, you know, that 1000 level is reasonable as a bouncing supporting level for sure. But again, price action would say the same thing, you know. Similarly, you could, yeah, this zone is at the top, but a lot of the times price likes to come down towards the bottom here, where you have a bottom and a top, and they play like that. That could be a good level. So anyway, you know, something like this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it could bounce here. And look, ultimately, the Ichimoku cloud is right there. So these things make sense, in my opinion. So we'll just watch it. Just watch, see what happens. Maybe it's an intermediate bounce, but yeah, again, that 1000 level seems like a longer term play for sure. For sure. Anyway, that's at this level. And at that point, you're already down below the cloud. That'll be a tough one. Then yeah, the 600 is definitely in play on that type of move. Okay, so that is origin trail broken down, and it's going to take some time to repair, in my opinion. Okay, humble opinion. Next, let us move on to the DERO price chart. And not much to say other than it is following the expectation. I don't know what else to say. I'm okay at seeing how things will move sometimes, other times not so well. And this one has turned out to be all right in terms of, you know, catching a topping move over here and now watching it retrace. It's just breaking down through this Ichimoku cloud layer. And it looks like this, what is this, 14,000 Satoshis is in the cards. I also want to say, yeah, the reason that that's the case is because there's no real price intervening here. So I just can't see there being a real bounce. The only reason I could see a bounce around here, it's probably some daily action, but also we have this channeling happen with, if we look at it on a candle basis, you know, some wicks and stuff. But what I yeah, what I'd like to say is it's taken a while, September, and it's so even in November, it looked like, oh no, maybe that's not true. Maybe we will continue to go higher or challenge things, but it was just, it was once a move like this starts really turning around, it's tough to get it back. But when does that happen? Look how much it turned around over here. So that's the other thing is, this is not easy to know where price action is going to go. But at the same time, it's not unreasonable to find good levels, especially on the way down. This level here was chosen a while ago, and it still hasn't come into play, but it looks more and more likely that it will. So that's DERO. And then looking for this 7,000 as a really deep retracement where you had these deviations from up and down, right? That like everything in between this level here and this level here has been either a little deviation or it's gone to either end back and forth. So let's see what happens. That's DERO for you against BTC. Okay, good. I've learned a lot with DERO because it kept going when I thought I could. It has to turn around. It can't keep going. Well, it kept going. And then patience was necessary in order to see the price where it is now, but it's gotten there. So a lot of this has been good learning opportunities. So if you're sticking around, that's great. I hope you're getting something out of these videos. So in terms of LTC, yeah, looks like it wants to go lower. Rejected at this 20-week moving average. It wants to go lower. It's only being held by these previous lows. That's LTC for you. It's definitely at the lower end of its ranges, but it's got such a daunting cloud up ahead. Although there's a little bit of a break here coming in the beginning of the second half of 2022. But we'll see if there's any type of Kumo twist. But even then, like you got maybe a little twist here or something here and here. Yeah, you got above it. That'd be nice. At least that gives some price action volatility. That's what everybody loves. Okay, LTC. BNB. BNB is one that had potential to flatten up at the top. Yeah. So here's what I'm watching. Is this box we're looking and the cloud looking to come through. I do think that this 20-week moving average will not hold as support eventually. I think you will get a bounce around this level here or wherever it is. It bounces up and retests, rejects. That's possible. We do have these type of lower highs so far. But one thing that I would like to look at here so far is something like this. Okay, so we're going to watch that. And that will be an interesting move. Once that happens, then I think it'll be a bit more sideways. So anyway, yeah, let's just watch how this line plays out. It might be nothing. It might have nothing to do with it. And so we'll have to take an eye and keep it on Binance. All right, Chainlink Army. Ooh, yeah, we broke up above, deviated above that downtrending, sloping resistance. Well, you could argue that you just touched it. And how quickly it turned back around. So here's this 200-week moving average again. This is going to be an important time for Chainlink, and it would make a higher low. I mean, that would be a key move to come retest and then continue higher. Let's see what happens because Chainlink is reaching the nose eventually of this little sucker right here. So this is going to be very interesting to watch. Chainlink is showing some potential to break through this structure very shortly. To the downside, you start looking at this 25,000 level and as support. But at that point, maybe it has to be 30,000. Nah, that just doesn't seem low enough. Then you start really getting down to like that 14,000, 15,000 level. Wow. Again, this is a chain link against BTC, so these things are totally possible. You know, it had a huge run up to here. It either has to stay flat here, or it is, and that is around the, where are we? Yeah, like 37, 38, whatever it is, 35. Otherwise, it's a quick drop down. I mean, you might have some steps along the way. It's going to have to form a base somewhere, but we'll stick around and watch. Okay. We won't know for a little while, maybe, because it's a weekly price chart, and 1 week at a time is one candle. So it takes longer to develop the price action. All right, that's Chainlink for you. We have now Polkadot against BTC. Dot BTC. Oh, wow, it broke it down. That is not your friend. That is not your friend. You can only hope that this is a deviation and you get back above. But I mean, it was already such a strong uptrend. Yeah, you're now looking at this level here as your potential support, maybe this zone, because you do have a bit of price action here, but that's not, and you have these previous supports. Oof, it really is close to the level. This is a really, yeah, I would say that's a pretty important region. Otherwise, I mean, that deviation here, okay. Otherwise, this is your zone here. This becomes a crazy zone of accumulation potential here, because where I mean, I just don't know how you don't go all the way down. Like this probably goes down to here. I mean, you could argue something like this first, okay, but it really has broken this structure now. 42,000 or so, 40,000 is, you want to stop higher than that. You really want to stop around 45,000. You really want to stop around 45,000 if you can. Not looking good here. Ichimoku cloud starting to form. You're going to be below it. Polkadot looks, and then, yeah, let's see, just do a little retracement here. What did we retrace this move? Well, we retraced at 88%, so maybe a flat pattern type of move. If we retrace this move, the B wave. Yeah, you know, 35,000, even this 41, 42,000, that would be another 88.6 retracement. That would be pretty wild, but I don't think you're getting that. Oof, yeah, there you go. This is how you can move to a 23,000 Satoshis Polkadot right there. You know, you get down to a 1, 2, 3, 6. It's still a flat pattern of some degree here. And then you could basically have some sort of ABC and an ABC up and down. And you're just doing this corrective action. You saw the LTC price chart against BTC. These things don't move like the dollar charts do. Yeah, polka dot just breaking down, momentum lower than this low now. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, sometimes you just I just like to talk through it and look at a few different tools and levels, and it helps to understand the structure. And you know, higher low compared to this low, you're in a downtrend. You're going to make some sort of M formation and then go, where is it going to end? Yeah. Good luck. Enjoy. I'm happy because not because I care in any sense, but it's just so interesting and informative and educational to just watch this stuff happen on bigger time frames. It's teaching me a lot about patience and a lot about what's possible and what's likely, and also it's teaching me also how I feel in the midst of this, so that I can be more self-aware, know myself better, and then make better decisions under these types of conditions. Look how long we were rejecting here. This was a tough one. You had a green candle here, trying to get out of what a fake out, eh? Like if you look on a daily chart, you closed above this type of closing line and then immediately rejected and brought you all the way to the lower end of the Bollinger Band again. Yeah, well, there you have it. That's the polka dot against BTC. All right, FTM. FTM is also looking like it is turning. Oh yeah, we have this big count. Okay, well, that's another story. I don't know at all if this is accurate, but because as you saw with the origin trail TRAC BTC price chart, I think it's one thing, but it just turns out to be something else. You see that same thing with LTC and all of that. So these are tough charts to watch, but it's good for playing the pairs for sure. Okay, so let us look for the FTM BTC. Okay, so we deviated above this channel that was seeming to form. I know there's a wick there. That's why it's like that. But either way, yeah, we deviated above it, came back in. Yeah, this is going to crash a bit. Trying to hold above this previous resistance, but my guess is, yeah, this 47, 45, whatever it's going to be. That's a really hot zone to try and watch for a bounce. But if it's not that, then I'm looking, oh, wow, then we're really trying to break this thing down. And also, if it starts breaking really into this region here, then it potentially starts to break with that count that I was having. And yeah, so I do get the sense that this might just be a little bit of a move like that. Something like that might happen. It's just getting a lot of popular press and these types of things. However, you know, we already had these divergences forming, so how much really can it keep going up? I don't know, maybe not. So yeah, first level is roughly this level here, and next level becomes this level here. So let's paint those levels. You got this level right here, which is around 5,000, and you have this level here, which is around 3,000. Okay, that's FTM. I will have to get into a bit of a count on this chart though. Yeah, danger. Okay, so in terms of Phantom, those are basically the levels there. Does that make sense? I mean, if you start breaking down below this 3,000, there's probably something really wrong. You're going down to like 1,500, 1,600 territory, and most likely down to the 1,000s territory. That could take a long time. That could be, we could be in the beginning of a very painful market in terms of US dollar prices for everything. And that might reflect in the alts against BTC or whatever. This is possible. Asset price deflation and all of that stuff. But based on the way the charts are showing and what it looks like, I mean, against BTC, yeah, I can see FTM crashing, ADA crashing, all things crashing, and BTC is rocketing up. And so the dollar price charts of these are reasonable. And anyway, we'll see. Because then after that, then they could move against BTC. And even if they're moving not to a new high, but they're moving to the next lower high, that could still be in US dollar terms a very significant price action. Anyway, so stay safe out there. That's all I really have to say. I can't do that for you. I can barely do that for myself. It's we got to be extra disciplined. So that's why I like paper trading the best, because it helps me learn a lot. Okay. When I say paper trading, I'm not even a huge day trading type of fan, just because it's very stressful on the nervous system for me. I'm not, that's too much for me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're here just to take a look at some of these charts, but Solana breaking down this uptrend. This thing is dangerously moving towards breaking below the Ichimoku cloud. And then, well, this is your zone of support, your first one. If that can't hold, then we can start talking about these levels here. But that would be devastating in terms of, I mean, I'm just wondering how many people got up above here. But this is probably such a great example of distribution. And now we're going to the next level. And is it going to become a redistribution as opposed to this reaccumulation? We would have a redistribution and then further down for the next maybe accumulation, or maybe accumulation doesn't happen till down here. I don't know. That's rough. That's really rough. I would imagine that accumulation could happen here and then they could move forward with this price chart, or even stronger is the accumulation would happen at this level. Of course, but there's a really good likelihood that you're going to be doing it below the Ichimoku cloud. So that's where I get concerned about this type of stuff, where then it moves down into these price levels here. All right. That's the idea there for Solana. Yeah, it's just starting its bear move. I don't know, but it got a pretty good head start on this RSI. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we're just starting to break below this Bollinger Band. They were starting to narrow, and so my guess is dumpage. However, never say never. And if it can manage to just stay within this box, price box, then more power to the Solana price chart, because then it'll stay above the Ichimoku cloud that's forming. And that would be quite huge. I could totally see the price bouncing up here, and then but forming a lower high and coming down. That's also possible. But anyway, watch this zone. That's the Solana zone that we're looking for. That zone is between the 90 and 140,000 Satoshis level, roughly. Okay, 130, whatever, 125 down to 75. Sorry, I should have said that better. 75 down to 125 as a zone of potential support. Woo! I like this level though, and even better this level. Okay. Will it get there though? That's the only question. This one is much more likely to be reached. All right. Although, like I said, something like that is totally possible. Now that would be rough. However, it's possible. I don't know. You know, the narrative conditions under which this would happen is probably just it becomes a broken play. Like people are not really interested in this until the next market cycle, and in that case, maybe it doesn't really go anywhere. Now that's super bearish FUD type stuff. I'm not trying to say that, but it's possible that it becomes like any of the other cryptos that have done these types of things. That's totally possible. I don't think so though. It seems to have too much backing and too much, you know, optimism. I could see that. I could see that where it just takes off, comes back down, you know, does whatever it needs to do. It can form a new basing structure here and a zone of reaccumulation. So those are the two possibilities: very bear, very bull. This intermediate seems reasonable. Okay, let's check a look. Avalanche, AVAX against BTC. Ooh, so just as well, finding resistance here, top of the channel again. And now having broken down, like that's what we were wondering, and it broke down. It's been a few weeks now that it was really threatening that move. There was a bit of a pause candle after it broke down the next week. And then last week was a big dump move. Found some support through the 20-week moving average at this level here. Previous resistance, closing resistance. But yeah, we're gonna see. I mean, it's still within this box, within this rectangle, but having broken down below this, just like Solana, you know, it's very much similar to Solana. So is it going to stay and make a basing box here? Or, you know, here's the Ichimoku cloud starting to form. This is basically up and down and up. So there's really no structure for weekly support until down at these levels here around the, what was that, 100,000 Satoshis. So, and then really nothing so this is it. I mean, we've already carved out this level. And in that case, yeah, maybe you come down to the lower end of this upsloping channel and you can find a rebound. That would be a really strong move for Avalanche, where you get to rebound like that. You get above the Ichimoku cloud. That would be pretty awesome. You come down to the lows of this entire move. So you've retraced that and cleared out that energy. And at the same time, you've you've based out at or rebounded at a previous heavy support resistance level. Resistance, breaking through support. So yeah, I like this chart better than the Solana chart, if you ask me. I just my personal bias. I think it's because I can see a bit more structure that makes sense to me. I'm more comfortable with the idea that I saw there. But worse than that is if you can't hold this and you break down below, that's when you have, again, these types of levels where you're like, oh. But this just seems more reasonable. All right, we'll see. We shall see on Avalanche price chart. Looking somewhat better than Solana. Let's just do a quick little look back and say that, yeah, because we're breaking down the lower end of it, whereas Avalanche, it was like coming from up here on the upper end of it. So that's really the difference in terms of that structure, in my humble opinion. Okay. And now we take the last few looks here. We've got MATIC. Oh yeah, big reversal at the upper end of this Bollinger Band. Haven't even gotten into the negative territory yet. We're going to see though, as it goes into negative territory, is it going to start to build? Is it going to start to build bullish divergence where the price goes lower than these lows here? And in that case, well, that's quite dangerous if it can find some support, but then you're lower than, you're below the Ichimoku cloud. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. MATIC, I mean, this is your zone right here. If you can hold this and fight this cloud, but once this happens on such a time frame, the only thing that I see that it has going for it, at least, is that it's got this horizontalization of the Ichimoku cloud. So if it can hold that, but I don't know. This is a tough call here. The bias is more so to come down. Now these are the main levels, and then it would have to probably bounce around. But how does it hold this? How does it not just keep going down to these levels here? Well, the only way is if it does continue with a strong structure and it can find something like that. Like that would be ideal if MATIC is going to continue going up against BTC. So that's the tough thing, is that these are not the USD charts. These are the BTC charts. So again, just like other charts, it can tell you, you know, this price action is probably going to go down regardless of the USD pair. It might go down. I'm not saying that that's what this is saying necessarily, but once you start breaking down below these RSI levels, it's probably going to dump pretty far. But clearly, my guess is going to be that it's going to chop around here first. So that means potential choppy price action around this cloud area, around the top of this this band that we would be forming here. Okay, so in that case, yeah, you know, it's just it's a tough chart generally here. I mean, the bias is more so down, but at the same time, this is a good chunk of support right here that it could find. Unfortunately, that might be too low by that time, and you would really want it to find support here at this level. But that just seems more risky. And I mean, if you're coming down here, what a move up, down, up. It's got to come down. Otherwise, it has to find some sort of support in this zone. So those are your only two options, really. I mean, yeah, you can come down and support here, but then you're below the cloud, and then you bounce the cloud. Maybe you have that wherewithal to get above. Maybe you can get above here and support here, but that's much less likely. It's much more likely to have something like that. That just looks more structurally sound, really. That is the BTC price chart. So anyway, we're gonna see, but I don't like this chart as much. You know, so far the Avalanche one seems like the most reasonable one of these big, hefty popular coins. FTM also has a bit more potential, but it's also still, it's still one of those ones that just topped it. I mean, there's too much potential for it to keep coming down. Avalanche just looks like it has a bit more of a structure. So that's good to know. Avalanche, you know, and then that's the good thing too, is that if it follows what we're expecting, that's great, because it has been following what we expect, then maybe it will continue to do what we expect. And so we could play with that. But anyway, at that point, here, you know, you do something like this, ouch, head and shoulders, if you like playing that game. Anyway, I don't want to go back to Avalanche chart. Best case scenario is one of those. All right. Yeah, for now, like, honestly, for me, I feel like BTC is the place to be in terms of figuring out what's going to happen. And then after that, you can jump into some altcoins. But right now, just like the FTM on Luna broke above, coming back in. Was it FTM? Oh, I wish I remembered. Too many. It broke above, came back in. At least you're far enough above the 20-week moving average that you could come down and meet it. This could be just a basing here, reaccumulation. At worst, you know, you come down here and you're fighting these levels here as a support, a previous resistance, and then you just, the main thing is you want to get above and stay above. You want to stay above this Ichimoku cloud. The danger though is breakdown, and then these become your levels. These become your levels. All right. Yeah. That's why sometimes it's really tough to figure out when something's up at the top. But even here, at least here, you're just at the beginning of the momentum, bullish momentum. Now, the nice thing about the Luna chart is that you didn't get a divergence here on the MACD. However, you could argue some form of divergence here on the RSI. And definitely you can start saying like, yeah, this is already some divergent type of formation. So Luna levels around the 130 and around the 80,000, 130,000, 80,000 Satoshis. I mean, if you're at this point, for me, it's like if you're not already in, you don't get in until there's something that's confirmed. That's why I'm saying you're watching the BTC. If you're already in and you're just going to stay in, you stay in. If you want to get in, but you're not in, or if you want to get more, then you look for good levels. This is definitely a good level. This like 75, 80,000 level is a great level to be looking at, up to like 90,000, whatever. And then if you really are trying to wait and be conservative, and you think that there's going to be some sort of move like that, then yeah, you want to be looking at 25,000 to 30,000 Satoshis level. All right, that is for Luna. And then Atom BTC will be the final one. Yeah, similar to Avalanche, this one seems good as well, because you're at the top of this range, narrowing range though. But if you can find this support here and move higher and stay above the Ichimoku cloud, then you can potentially go for a bullish move. You've made a nice rounding formation, you kind of breaking higher, and you can go even higher than that. That would be pretty hot at that point. Oops. At that point, yeah, it's like you're going that way. If not, you're coming below this Ichimoku cloud, and you are probably coming to these levels again. That's a tough one, but that would make sense in this type of framework right here, where maybe you got a couple deviations here to the top and to the bottom. Yeah, you just have to watch out for that. But the sense that I'm getting is you watch out for this support here. If you can get that and it keeps going, then it really feels like it's going to be going doing one of these things, right? All right, that's the idea. Okay, that's Atom for you. So Atom and Avalanche so far looking quite nice, but I don't like the divergence that has been building here. So that's my, again, though, it could be a divergence that leads to this type of move, but you're on a weekly scale. And so these things can take some time to play out. And by then, it might be, not, you might, you might have broken down the structure. So we're gonna have to watch and see. So far, Avalanche seems the safest at this point in terms of watching it play out, and as well as Atom. Also, ADA looks like you could watch it and get a sense of where it's gonna go. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I hope this has been helpful for you. I don't really have much else to say. I'm going to stop sharing right now the screen. So yeah, thanks a lot for being here, and wishing you all the love, peace, and happiness that you can manage. And until next time, goodbye.